everybody on campus right now hates you. Do you understand?
Yeah, so just real quick. First of all, I'd say the truth sounds like hate to those who hate truth.
You guys just have to see this conversation between a pro-life gentleman and a pro-choice lady. I'm going to assume. I don't know how she identifies, but seems to me like a lady. Let's check it out.
Hi, what's your name?
Taylor.
Hayden. Good to meet you.
Taylor.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying my name. Hayden.
Oh.
Yeah, good to meet you. Yeah, so what's your position on abortion?
All right. Well, quite frankly, I'm going to be honest. I don't think this is any of your business.
Okay, so immediately we can tell that heading into this conversation or debate, this person is combative. And I think that in general, if you're going to discuss a topic meaningfully, you have to be a good faith actor. So she's not starting off on the right foot.
Thank you. All right. I've been wanting to talk to you one of you guys for a really, really long time. I don't know if you're going to upload me on my YouTube. I don't know which channel I'm going to be on. If I'm on YouTube, hi. If you decide to remove me, whatever. But quite frankly, this is none of your business. You're on nobody's side right now, other than a couple of guys who already are anti-abortion. Right now, you're just making everybody on campus hate you.
Okay, so immediately she's giving no arguments against abortion, or for abortion rather. She's just saying, hey, basically,
nobody likes you, nobody's on your side.
And she's saying that as if it matters. If a core part of your argument is whether or not people like you instead of the validity of your argument, you're already losing. But I'm sure she's going to get into some more substantive stuff.
There's not a single person you are getting on your side. Okay, personal beliefs aside, you are not getting anybody on your side by saying everybody's who's had an abortion is evil. Do you understand? This is terrible. You're making women feel awful. If there's somebody on campus who's had an abortion, they're hating themselves right now because of you.
Okay, so far, feelings. That's about it.
This is not okay. You are on nobody's side right now, other than a couple of guys, couple of conservative guys who I'm not even gonna try to debate you about your personal beliefs. Everybody on campus right now hates you. Do you understand?
Yeah, so just real quick. First of all, I'd say the truth sounds like hate to those who hate truth. I also want to point out, you said that it's none of my business, but what happens to my neighbors is my business. When my neighbors in the womb are being murdered by the millions, that is my business. And I'd also point out the same argument that you're saying that it's not my business is a very similar argument that those who were in the North in the early 1800s in the United States made against slavery. They said, the plantation owners all said, it's none of your business what I do with my property. Now, they were wrong because humans are not property. They are humans who are made in the image of God and are valuable and have a right to liberty even when the state doesn't recognize it. So you're saying it's none of my business, presumably because I don't have a uterus. But I'd point out, you don't own a plantation, yet you can still say slavery is wrong. What do you think?
None of what you said has anything to do with what I said. And this is a really common, I guess, Ben Shapiro, sort of thing with you type of guys. I'm not even going to acknowledge that. I forgot what that, sort of argument that's called. I don't know. I don't remember, but I know this is a common thing for you guys to just go widely off topic. You are on nobody's side right now.
He didn't go off topic at all. In fact, he brought it back to topic after she just sat there and insulted him and made no arguments. Just said,
you're bad. You hurt people's feelings. I hope you know that.
He brings it back and says, well, for you to say that my opinion doesn't matter, actually, here's a parallel example in the case of the value of human life from the past where people said the very same thing. And then, of course, I don't even know if she was listening to what he was saying or if she was paying attention. It seems she just sat down to give him a piece of her mind, but let's see where it goes.
You're not getting anybody on your side by calling me a slave owner.
I never called you a slave owner. I said you're making a similar argument to those who were slave owners did. Slaveholders said, you don't own a plantation, you can't tell me what to do with my property. They said that circle around us, we can oppress other people. Right now what you're doing is you're saying, Hayden, you don't have a uterus, you can't tell women what to do with their bodies. What I'm pointing out, though, is that just like in the 1800s with slavery, the blacks who were being enslaved were northern people's the blacks who were being enslaved in the early 1800s. They, just like everyone around here, have a right to liberty. And people...
Look at her. Oh my God, he said blacks.
People in the North, like you, who said it's none of my business what another person does to another person's body, you're making the same argument that slave owners did. Do you recognize that? You're saying just stay out of this? Again, early in the conversation, you said it's none of your business. But when my neighbors are being murdered, it is my business. Just like in the early 1800s when blacks were being enslaved, It was everyone's business. Do you have any response?
Okay, I'm
You
sorry.
got no response, bro?
No, I do have one. That's all.
All right, let's
That's
hear it.
hilarious. I'm sorry. I had
Okay.
to stop for a
Let's
second.
hear it.
I feel like there's a big difference between slavery and just some women getting an abortion. Sorry, I had to stop. That was funny. I'm sorry. No offense to you, but like that was really funny. The blacks. I'm sorry. That was a bunch of nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay, so can I point out again and try to stay with me this?
Okay, maybe this is just a large IQ disparity. Because if she doesn't understand his argument and she's just going to laugh at the fact that he said blacks, which people say whites, blacks, it's very common vernacular. It seems like this is a way to basically laugh your way out of this argument because you've realized that he actually is holding you to some sort of logical standard and you're going to have to defend yourself logically unless you get out of it.
Time. The argument's the same. Early on in this conversation, you said it's none of my business, correct?
Okay, yes, I said it's none of your business, quite frankly.
Okay, so you said it's none of my business. Why is it none of my business when someone is being murdered?
Because it's not even your body. And
Okay.
quite frankly, like your like little slavery thing, I feel like there's a huge difference. You're ignoring like the whole, embryo isn't even a human being.
But it is a human being. If you Google when does human life begin, scientifically it'll say fertilization. You can keep laughing, but when you laugh, it doesn't make what I say untrue. What I'm saying is still true.
I'm sorry, but what you're saying is funny. I can't help it. It's like I'm in the circus right now.
All right, so again, you said it's none of my business. Okay. Now,
Okay.
people in the North, when slavery was going on, the people who weren't abolitionists said it's none of my business what a slaveholder in the South does to black people.
Okay.
Obviously, they're wrong, and everyone should care when human rights violations are occurring. Everyone should have cared in the early 1800s when blacks were being enslaved in America. What actually happened, though, is the people who did care were the people who were saying, no, that's not your property, that's my neighbor. It was Christian abolitionists who stood up and said, slavery is wrong because humans are made in the image of God and are not by nature property and have a right to liberty even when the state doesn't recognize it. Really? Name me one abolitionist in the early 1800s in America who was not a Christian. Harriet, I can name you plenty.
Uh-oh, he said Christian. Triggered. Look at her. Look at her. So you make an assertion. It wasn't just Christians. Name the ones who weren't.
Are Christian. William Lloyd Garrison, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass. In Britain, William Wilberforce. These are all Christians.
Look at her little brain exploding.
I'm telling you, it's just true. The vast majority of people in the early 1800s who wanted to abolish slavery were Christians. That's not refutable at all. It's just factually and historically accurate.
Okay, can I go back to the beginning now?
Go for it.
Nobody is on your side, and that's all I'm going to say. You are not making any friends. Everybody is against you. Do you understand?
I do. Can I point out once again,
No.
early 1800s, Christian abolitionists, people like you would say, no one is on your side, you should just stop. But they didn't, did they? They kept fighting for their black brother and sisters who are made in the image of God and who are not by nature property. They fought for their liberty, they fought for their freedom, they fought for their right to life. In the same way, everyone on this campus you said hates me, I probably would agree. Probably most people on this campus do hate me. That doesn't mean I should stop speaking the truth. It doesn't mean I should stop fighting for human rights. It doesn't mean I should stop fighting for those who don't have a right to life that is guaranteed under law right now, who are made in the image of God and are valuable.
Okay, I'm not even going to argue with the whole you're pro-life thing. I'm just saying, you're not doing anything here. Comparing us to slave owners, that's not doing a single thing. And I don't want you to interrupt, I'm sorry, but
Oh, she's going to sit down, insult him, refuse to actually debate logically with him, and then continue to insult him, and then say, do not interrupt me. This is so par for the course as far as these entitled, hollow-headed people. I used to be one of these people. I was indoctrinated by the educational institutions I attended. I was in graduate school saying the same crap. Oh, it's just a clump of cells, blah, 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 blah. I had never thought critically about anything. And had I sat at this table, I would have gotten absolutely destroyed logically by this gentleman as well. I have no sympathy for this girl. The fact that she is so entitled to tell him not to interrupt her when she sat down in front of his camera and his microphone, insulted him, refuses to debate him, which actually the analogy he's making is very valid. Black people weren't viewed as humans equal to white people back during that time. A fertilized embryo that is now a new human life with unique DNA today by many is not viewed as equal to what people would call a valid human life, they're saying the same thing, that you don't get to have an opinion about this because you don't have a uterus. You aren't one of us. And so just stay out of it. It's the exact same argument that slaveholders made, in fact. And I would be interested in hearing someone's rebuttal to that with logic.
You're not doing a single thing right now. Look who is like,
So
the only people who are here right now are women who are against you. Like, also fellow women who are uncomfortable.
And right now, this video was posted on his channel 4 days ago and it has 131,000 views. I'd say he is doing something.
well,
Like, you're not doing a single thing.
can I
You're not,
respond?
no. All right, you're not impressive. Like, you're not, you're not.
She says all these things as though he cares about being impressive or being liked. She is so self-centered and narcissistic that she can't fathom the fact that someone might actually be advocating for a cause outside of themselves.
making any like law changes. Nobody's gonna see this and be like, wow, he's speaking the truth.
I'll show you examples of that here in just a second. All you have to do is look at the comments on this video.
You guys are annoying. We do not like you. You make everybody's days worse. Your pure existence is miserable. You are like a slime. We do not like you. All right? I want you to leave.
I'm sure he's so sad that you do not like him.
And I know I can't technically make you leave because like freedom of speech or whatever, but we do not like you. We do not want you here. You can have any like belief you want, but do not call other people evil for it, especially other women.
She called him slime and all kinds of other derogatory things, but when he truly believes that someone is committing murder, he's not allowed to say that's evil. Double standard much?
Just real quick, my sign doesn't say that women who get abortions are evil. It says abortion is evil. The act of murder is evil. If I
Who cares?
sign that says murder is evil, I don't think you'd be coming up here. Abortion is murder. Murder is evil. I'm not saying the women who are getting abortions are evil. I will point out they're committing evil acts when they get abortions, but I will also point out they can be forgiven from their sins if they put their faith in Jesus Christ.
Okay, we're done here. All right, it was nice meeting you, Hayden. I do not want to argue with like a Ben Shapiro wannabe, honestly. You seem like you're in your own sort of like circle. I wish you the best. I'm praying for you.
Honestly, no matter what your position on this, you have to concede she made zero valid arguments. It was ad hominem attacks. It was nobody likes you, you're slime, etc. Now, she said that nobody supports what he's saying and that he's having no effect. Well, let's take a look here. Okay, she's a shining example of indoctrination. She didn't have a single argument. She just kept firing insults. Millions of people are on your side and God is on your side. Pray this girl repents and puts her trust in Jesus. Plenty of people are on his side, like me. Not everyone hates him. She hates him. Her argument is, you don't have any say about this issue. Her opinion is, you cannot speak. Okay, and this just goes on and on and on and on and on. And I'd say to this young lady, I hope you realize, and you probably won't, but I hope you realize just how disgusting your behavior was. And again, this isn't a matter of what is your position. You can be pro-life, pro-abortion, it doesn't matter. You have to view this video and be able to condemn that type of behavior. He is acting in good faith, sitting down, opening himself up to conversations with people, and he has clearly thoroughly thought about his position and researched his position, and he's putting himself out there. For you to come sit down and insult him, and when he asks if he can say something, you say no. I mean, this is the epitome of the entitled, disgusting white liberal that Malcolm X talks about, that Thomas Sowell talks about. It's gross behavior. She clearly has a very high opinion of herself and has a very narcissistic personality, evidenced by the fact that she kept telling him, as though it's a valid reason, that nobody likes you. Nobody is going to be your friend. People don't want you here. Okay, great. I still believe what I believe. I have so much more respect for this young man for believing what he believes, standing by his beliefs, and putting himself out there to have conversations with people who disagree with him. She didn't give a single valid argument in this entire exchange. Let me know what you guys think. I just thought this was astonishing. And, I hope that one day she realizes just how absurd what she's saying sounds. Again, no matter what your position, this isn't how you conduct yourself in good faith. All right. Please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me.